It's time to get on up with Jam and Renee. And here's your hosts, James Arthur M. and Renee Culver.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Backchannel, the only place where you can watch, listen to, and chat live with hosts. And right now, you're watching Get On Up with Jam and Renee, and I am your morning jam, James Arthur M.
And I am Renee Colbert. Good morning, you guys.
Yes, you are. We love her so much. Where would we be without Renee? Well, I'll tell you where I will be with Renee every day. And so will you every Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 in the morning, right here on Backchannel. We're going to help y'all get on up.
We sure are. And the way to get here is you just say to your device, open Backchannel, and we'll be right here, just as James said, every Monday through Friday, 7 to 9. And James, did you know that this is an interactive show? You can participate.
It's one of the best parts I love so much about it. And look at these amazing Get On Uppers that we have. I want to do a little roll call. Like Stacy just joined. Good morning, Stacy. Welcome.
Good morning,
Isaac
Stacey.
is here. Shabuya, Shabuya. Roll call. We got Dakota from Florida, Freddie from Louisiana, Nathan from Texas, Laura from Alabama, Isaac, North Carolina, Steve from Michigan, Evelyn from Oklahoma, Liz from Maryland, Home, New Jersey. You can change your name. I'll show you how. Talk from Ohio, Abigail from Oklahoma. There's the Get On Uppers.
That's the whole team. I sure didn't. I don't think any of us were ready. None of us were quite ready for that.
Were you stunned in amazement or horror?
Amazement. Always amazement with you. You are amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm curious, what have I done to myself today? And looking at this, I am coming in like a giant. What? So close to the screen.
Giant Renee. We love it. You grew overnight. We love Giant Renee. Stacey says hello. And if you're wondering how we're interacting with the Get On Uppers and you want to get in on the action, all you have to do is into your device. If you have a device where you can see us and you can see the comments, just say please use the word say before you chat. So for example, you could say, Echo, say, I love this show.
I love that so much. Or Echo, say, Renee, you do look like a giant. A little big. You're a little big. Back up a bit, baby. That's all you got to do. Just give it a bit. Look at that. And now you're the same size as Jam. That's all you got to do. You just got to scoot back a bit. Yes.
Or you can say, Echo, say, hey, Renee, I bet you look really handsome with a mustache. And then, Full disclosure. There is a really amazing Instagram picture of Renee. Renee, can you tell the Get On Uppers what I'm referring to?
I'd love nothing more. And Get On Uppers, I'm curious, are you guys also obsessed with Ted Lasso?
Yes, let us know. Say, I am obsessed, or say, don't know her.
I don't know. I wouldn't know what you're talking about, Renee. So a TV show on Apple called Ted Lasso, starring Jason Sudeikis. It's great. It'll make you feel wonderful. And so Halloween comes around, and everyone is going. It's also it's Thirsty Thursday. It's also Trash Thursday.
Oh gosh! We need to do a segment about. We might need to do a segment what we put in the trash. Who we put in the trash?
Oh, I love that so. Okay, all right. Well, it's not Ted Lasso. I'll tell you that right here and now.
No,
it's not Ted Lasso.
Take it out of the trash.
Get it out of there. So Halloween comes around, 2021, and everyone is going as Ted Lasso. Absolutely everybody. And I can't follow the fold. James, I just can't. But I love Ted Lasso, and I also need to participate. So I went as Jason Sudeikis at the Golden Globes. For people that watch the Golden Globes, and if you didn't, good for you. But if you did watch it, it was all from home. And so all these Hollywood stars were like accepting the awards from their home. And the trash truck knows. It's like it was a little bit of a trash show. And all of the celebrities got dressed up. They're in their tuxes. They're in their ball gowns. And Jason Sudeikis is filming Ted Lasso over across the pond. It's 2:00 in the morning. And so he's wearing this very hoodie this one that I'm wearing right now, and is a little sleepy. Thank you. It's 2 a.m. So I went as Jason Sudeikis at the Golden Globes in this hoodie, and I pulled back my hair and I put on a mustache and I took a photo. And James was very receptive, and I appreciate it.
To the point
much.
where I can't stop talking about it. I think this is at least the third time at least the third or fourth time I brought it up this week, and at least the second time I brought it up this week on the show.
It's the kindest.
So
it's the kindest and the nicest.
Renee, I was like, Renee, who's your brother? We'll have to bring a photo so people can see.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Send that in.
Gorgeous and attractive, but you become a man. It just
that's very true. And listen, Stacey's giving good advice. I got to be careful to not draw attention to myself. I'm just a showman. Hogging the attention. Stacey, keeping me in line. I appreciate you so much, Stacey.
Well, I do want to remind the Get On Uppers, if you've been listening for a while, or it is your first time, you're 5 minutes and you're like, who are these folks? I love them so much. How can I leave a review? That is a great question. We love asking for reviews at the top of the show. Feedback is a gift. Please leave a review by going to www.backchannel.tv and smash that leave a review button. Don't even hit it, just smash it. And then you can send us your thoughts about the show. Should Renee dress up as Jason Sudeikis every show? Let us know. These are the things we want.
I didn't know this was on the table, but I love it. It. It makes me very happy. Now,
Renee, should we talk about what's coming up in today's show? I feel like this is your favorite day of the week, so you take it away, Renee.
I love Thursday. I love Thursday because I get to see you. I love Thursday because I get to see our Get On Uppers. But I also love it because it's a little thirsty. It's a little thirsty.
Thursday, always so thirsty. It's Thirsty Thursdays. It's Thirsty Thursday, but not and it's a way that's good for the whole family. So if you're like, the little ones, no. We're not going weird with it. We're going simple with it. It's in your parched. So our first segment is things that we're thirsting for in terms of like we can't wait. There's a new movie coming out. There's a new magazine with Oprah on the cover.
Listen, I think we're all mentioning that and what we're looking forward to. A magazine with Oprah on the cover. Top of the list for everyone. Absolutely.
You can tell that I listened to Oprah Super Soul Session this morning because I was like, I need an example. What do people love? Magazines. And like, how many people really?
No, I think you knocked it out of the park. I think you nailed it. And now I'm remiss to mention mine because it's not the top thing that everybody wants. Thank you.
And then you've got my favorite segment after
Back to it. Accidental thirst traps. And I tell you what that is. And I'm going to revise it. I'm going to see if I can do this better. So Get On Uppers last week, accidental thirst traps. I did crafting and I did a baker. And I didn't quite nail it. So this week I'm going to do objectively, I think we can all agree, very attractive people. But the posts that I'm like, oh my, are a little bit different than you think. They're accidental. I don't think they meant for me to say, oh my, but they got it. So those are my accidental thirst traps.
We can't wait. And then we've got Thriving Thursday. So some news that is out here thriving away. And then it is Thursday. It's a Throwback Thursday. So we have a little history segment this week inspired by, it's Martin Luther King week. We've been celebrating Martin Luther King's legacy and work this entire week. And today we'll be celebrating Bayard Rustin, who you may not have heard about, but was a Black gay activist who really was responsible for putting the Million Man March together. So, or not the Million Man March, because that happened after he was passed away. I have my notes. I swear I know what I'm talking about.
No, you know it. You know it.
The big march, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedoms, where the I Have a Dream speech took place. So, and then what are we doing after that?
Well, I'd love to tell you. Hold on just a second. I scrolled down, but now I'm scrolling back up so I can tell you all about it.
I did make it seem like I was going to take the rest of it. Then I was
sure. Sure.
Like, now, stretch break.
Just do it. Just a little stretch. Just do a little stretchy stretch. No, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is a this or that segment. Does that sound right?
Nailed it.
Okay.
Nailed it.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We're going to give you some scenarios and we're going to give you options of which one would you do. And you're going to chime in. You'll say, Echo, say this, or Echo, say that. And then we'll know which scenario, which choice you went with.
I love it.
We're going to make some choices.
It's real fun. It's real fun. And then we're going to end on a high note. We're going to end on things that are making us thriving this week. You're going to get some great advice. You're going to love it. Now, speaking of advice, though, James, just real quick before we hop into the next segment, before we logged on, you said, hey, I took some advice of yours and I am on the edge of my seat because wisdom comes out of me annually, once a year. So the fact that you got it and were able to apply it, I need to know everything. Tell me.
Well, Renee, I don't like to correct you in front of the Get On Uppers, but your wisdom comes out of you at least once a week because we have Wednesday wisdoms, remember? Sure. So we did, so that's,
okay.
Don't you lie to me first thing in the morning. Weekly advice. And also you're too kind because really before we popped on over here, I was like, Renee, don't forget to ask me about that advice so I can tell you the story. So you're very kind. I forced her to ask me this question.
Now I want to know. I genuinely want to know what happened.
I have an update on Brittagate 2020.
Very okay. Yeah, catch us up. What was happening?
So yesterday, what was the problem? Why did we get into this? Things that were, what should I do? It was like, what should I do Wednesday? What do I do Wednesday or something?
It seems about right. Yeah. Wait, no, and it was weird for us to create a segment called "People We Hate." We shouldn't have. That was weird, and we should not. That definitely wasn't it. That wasn't it.
I needed advice on what to do when like your roommate doesn't refill the Brita water filter, and which also became a point in my therapy session yesterday. So clearly this was bothering me.
It was really got your gill. Yeah.
Renee had the advice, and I'll tell you why. In my when we close out the show, it connects to my my closeout, my thriving out the week, my aha that I've had. But for now, so what happened was Renee gave the great advice of buy a different Brita water, because I would wake up in the morning, first thing I see 5 o'clock in the morning, I try to go drink my 2 glasses of water and I see an empty Brita filter.
It's not a good way to start the day. No,
it sets me off. We're off to a bad start.
It would set anybody off. That's really upsetting. I get it.
I'm just like, I'm so parched. It's Thirsty Thursday. What am I to do? Just continue thirsting? So instead, what I've done is so Renee had the advice of like, you just get another Brita water filter. You write your name on it. You put it in the fridge. I think the reason why I didn't bite on that is I actually keep my Brita water filter on the counter. I don't because I don't like the cold water. I like a nice warm glass of room temperature, if you will, room temperature water. So the advice was to do that, and it wasn't resonating. And so then last night, furious and not wanting to wake up with like no water, I put it. It's in my room. It's right over here in my space, so that's where the Brita water filter will live.
Perfect.
And you know what I had this morning?
What's
water.
That?
I had so much water. It was
so much water.
So this way, if I wake up and it's not there, it's on me.
Yeah.
Right. I can blame myself.
Okay. I like that. I think that this all sounds very good. How do you feel about it? Does that feel?
This seems
good?
Like a band-aid on what needs to happen as an actual puff.
I feel like a conversation still needs to happen.
Wait a minute. I took your advice and you were disappointed.
No, that was not my advice. That was not my advice. My advice was tell your roommate how it makes you feel.
You did.
Tell your roommate how it makes you feel. And then if your roommate doesn't respond, get yourself a second Brita filter with your name on it so that you are not denied your water in the morning.
I only heard the first part.
I'm pretty sure you said passive aggressively hide it in my room.
I was wondering why you weren't doing cartwheels. I got to my end and like, wow, Renee's usually so supportive of me. And she's not doing cartwheels. You therapized me. How do you feel about that decision? Thursdays with Renee.
I do think your Band-Aid worked really well, and I'm proud of you, and good job. But I also think the topic needs to be brought up, that you need to be respected, and your water needs to be there in the morning out of your Brita filter.
I remember you did say that other part. Let us know, Get On Uppers. You can go echo, say James did the right thing, or echo, say James, you need to talk to your roommate. You need to fix your
let
life.
us know. Let us know. And that's not easy. And I can't promise you that I would do the advice that I'm giving, but I think the more permanent solution is to have the conversation. But I like this solution.
It's always so much easier in theory. At my therapist
Mm.
session, it was just like, I know all the right things to do, but then
It's really hard to
I've
do
read
it.
all the books.
Yeah.
It's a whole other thing.
Well, and the tricky thing about doing the right thing, it is dependent on the recipient of doing the right thing also doing the right thing. So you can do all the right things, but if you're met with somebody who's defensive or hasn't been therapized, then it's not going to go great. So I get it. I get it.
I have been therapized. You've been therapized.
Oh, yes, I have.
Shout out in the comments if you have been therapized. All right, we're going to it's Thirsty Thursdays, so we are doing our segment of what are you thirsty for? What are you thirsty for? Thirsty Thursdays. Here we go. So we're curious, get on uppers. What are you thirsting for? Remember, you can just say, I'm thirsty for bananas. You just really love that. I'm thirsty for that Oprah magazine where she's going to be on the cover.
Yes, she's going to be on the cover. First time ever.
She's on the cover of O magazine. She's always on the cover.
Always on the cover. Always on the cover.
She's on every cover.
Good for her. Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Could you? What an amazing dream. I think the story of Oprah, so amazing, just so phenomenal. Just what was she? Like she has her own network. This Black woman has her own network. She has her own magazine. And she, when her grandmother used to fold laundry, and when she was 4 years old, grandma was like, you need to learn how to do this. And she said at 4 years old, she was like, this is not going to be my life.
Yes. Oh, Oprah. Yeah. I mean, she's an inspiration across the board. Still to this day. James, I have a Thirsty Thursday to share that I picked specifically to try to impress you.
Oh, okay.
I am genuinely thirsty for it, but as I was scouring through, I was just like, oh, this one. I'm gonna pick this one for James.
Okay. All right. Give it to me.
A little present for you. Now I feel, this is a little tease to this or that. Do you think Renee is a voracious reader of books? Or do you think the last time she read a book was 1997? So 1997 or voracious?
Gosh, the specificity, the specificness of your usage of 1997 makes me want to lead to that. But I know how you like to play these games, and you play to win. You like to trip people up. So I think 1997 is too specific, but then the comedy of it, like 1997, that's a long time ago. No, I'm gonna say you're a voracious reader. You're a learned woman. You know a thing or two. You've read a Brene Brown book. You have a subscription.
Bing, 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 bing. If we were playing Hot or Colder, you just nailed it with Brene Brown. You're 100%.
You have
correct.
A subscription to O magazine.
I sure do. The reason that I say this, the thing that I'm thirsty for, is that I do not read. I am a tactile and audio learner. So if I read something, just in one eye out the other, as they say, I just don't retain anything. But I listen to audiobooks every week. I love them so much. So the thing that I am thirsty for specifically for you, James.
Wait, I should have known.
Yeah,
I should have known this. Because you didn't read Jessica Simpson's autobiography. You listened to it on your trip to Utah. I should have.
Yep.
Stacey also in audio learning. Yes, look at that solidarity. I want to be cool too. I have a subscription to Audible as well. I do it. I'm listening to Will Smith's audiobook.
I also do it. We're all audio learners. Stacey, Jam, Renee, thick as thieves, all audio learners. We love it so much. So the thing that I'm thirsty for is Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart book came out in December, but it comes out on Audible. Now it's called Atlas of the Heart. It comes out in February. When do you think it comes out? Because she's clever.
February 14th.
Of course,
February 14th.
Valentine's Day.
We already have plans. You and I are going to watch, what is it? Dollface? We're watching Dollface.
Yeah. And listening to Brene Brown's book. And I think you guys.
Time.
are probably very familiar. But can I give you a little synopsis of what this book is going to be about?
Give me a little taste.
Okay.
Remind me. I love it.
I would love nothing more. I would love nothing more. So it's basically what she's saying is that, well, I was going to read it, but we just talked about how I'm an audio learner. So I'm just going to give you the gist is that I think, especially in Western culture, we are not great with knowing our feelings. We know happiness, we know sadness, and we know angry. And because we only have those three that we know of, it makes it difficult to communicate how we feel because there's so many other emotions. So this Atlas of the Heart sort of goes through 87 different emotions that humans can feel. And if we all have a concept of just like, oh, this feeling means this, then we'll be able to communicate a little bit better. Whereas you're just like, oh, I'm sad that my Brita filter is being taken advantage of, then I would be like, there, here's a tissue. And you're like, no, that didn't fix the problem because what I'm not sad, I'm hurt. I'm
hurt.
So,
I feel disrespected.
Yes.
I used that recently when I had two friends flake out on me in the same weekend.
Yeah.
And I realized I sat with it. I was like, well, what am I? And like, oh, I'm disappointed. That was the
There
feeling,
you go. Yeah. And did they understand it a little bit better?
Oh,
or
I
don't know if you mentioned you didn't mention it to them. Yeah, but you knew.
Yeah.
A little bit better.
I knew.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to listening to Brene Brown's book.
Okay, good. Perfect. I am looking forward to it too. And also it's like what I like about it is, and she's so brilliant. It's like what I love about audiobooks like Brene Brown or even like an Oprah book. It's like a very focused podcast, because it's like well researched and thought. It's like what they wrote for like, 2 years or whatnot. Whereas sometimes the podcasts, like as people who record podcasts, like listen, I'm gonna tell you, not all of them are home runs. Because you're making up as you go along. You don't know, right?
Sure. Yes.
But you're getting like a very focused Brene Brown audio almost podcast of 16 hours of information without her sisters involved.
It's just Brene reading it to you. Yeah.
Well, oh my goddess, I'm also thirsty for that. So man, I can't wait to
thirst. I love it. And what are you thirsty for though?
Well, I want to give Stacey a big air hug from away. We're so sorry. Stacey mentioned that Stacey has a friend that passed away and feeling very, very sad. So maybe this book, this audio book, maybe we can do a little book club. We all get it together and it might even help with processing that loss. Stacey, I also would like to recommend a book that I send to everyone who experiences loss of someone that is really close. Sure, they have an audio book of it as well. It's called How to Survive the Loss of a Love. An amazingly great book. It's helped me when I have lost, people have been really close to me. It's got a lot of really, I don't know. The book is like magic. It's just got a lot of great anecdotes and ways of thinking about loss. Highly recommend How to Survive the Loss of a Love. So
I'm so sorry for anybody who's going through that. That's tough, but I'm glad there's books out there to sort of help you walk through it. I hate this pivot, but what are you thirsty for, James?
Not one of your best. Not one of your best.
Sure wasn't.
But you did it. Sometimes you just got to do it.
Sometimes you just got to call it out and be like, this is going to give you whiplash. You are about to get whiplash.
I need a painful massage. So I am thirsty for COVID tests.
Yes.
I am thirsty for COVID tests. So every American household is going to get 4 COVID test. Yay. Just as Omicron is maybe peaking, but you know what? At least we're going to be able to test ourselves. The Postal Service will only send 1 set of free at-home coronavirus tests to valid residential homes. One of the caveats is that if you've got roommates, again, is 1, like you're just getting a package, you're getting 4 for the whole household. So the thing of, I guess it's like the thought that counts. Because then you're gonna have to wager you're which one am I gonna use this for, what event am I going to that I want to, and I believe you go to freecovidtests.gov.
Have you tried it yet? It is without incident. It takes 30 seconds. So I think there is many
website?
Notes for such a thing. You just go to the Postal Service. It's on the I know.
Oh, snap. Make sure. Okay. We want to make sure we're getting you the right information here. I was so thirsty. I didn't even.
No, you did it right. You did it all right. Yeah. Let me do a quick double check here. I think that's why we're all tuning into this.
Well, while Renee's looking at that, I
Yes.
do want to highlight there is a little bit of a snafu for folks who have been they had some initial issues, and maybe the website got fixed or whatnot. But initially, for those who had apartments, there was like no place to put an apartment, and so the website, the government website, is really favoring folks who have homes and exact home addresses.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully that's been fixed.
Let's say, hold on just a minute. Okay, well, you know what? We're going to swing back to this. This is going to be a reason to hang on to the show so that you know where you're up and going.
Where you're going to go. Yeah. I feel like I should have just been able to Google free COVID tests, free COVID tests.
Now, and to their credit, here's what I love about articles is they're just like, it's covidtest.gov, right?
Okay. How to order the 4 free rapid COVID-19 tests announced by the White House. Why do I have to pay $8 to log into this Wall Street Journal? But it did launch a day early, so that's nice. Oh yeah, you can also go to special.usps.com/test kits, which I think is where Renee went.
Yeah,
that is one place you can go. You Google it. I trust y'all. You can say it, or you'll find it. I don't know what would happen if you go into your Echo device and you say, Echo,
order me
that COVID test. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, one other thing that I'm thirsty for.
Yes.
And this is actually where I thought maybe you were gonna go, but again, why would you go here? So
I love it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
When you were like, I might be an avid reader, and I was like, ooh, she's gonna talk about Lord of the Rings. She's gonna talk about how much There's one thing I know about Renee.
Yeah.
She loves herself some hobbits.
My goodness.
You're gonna say how you're so excited about the new Lord of the Rings Amazon series premiering September 2nd.
Okay.
I'm not.
Do you want to know something?
Do you want to know what the subtitle of it is? Because it's not just Lord of the Rings, it's Lord of the Rings.
Tell me, won't you?
Do you want to take a guess?
Dragons are back. Get ready. Dragons are back. Get ready.
There's actually I was gonna say there's no dragons in Lord of the Rings, but that's not true. There is Smaug in The Hobbit, which I'm sure that's what you're referring to.
Sure, yes.
Voiced by Benedict. He died. Voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch, who also did the motion capture for the dragon. There's a YouTube video
of
him crawling around.
I'll watch that on the live one day. Cute, adorable.
Renee doesn't actually watch the actual Lord of the Rings. She just watches the behind the scenes.
Yeah,
features.
That's it. I just watched the motion capture videos. That's the only thing I'm familiar with. Yeah.
I am a dragon. Mocap. Anyway, it's called Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Because Renee, I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
But before the Lord of the Rings, because you know about the one ring that rules them all. I'm sure you've heard about that.
I could not be more well versed in all of this. You're saying it before I can get it out, but we're basically saying it together.
Okay. Breathe. Okay. But Renee, and this, hold on to your hat. Pew, 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 pew. Hold on to your hat.
Yes.
Hold on to your hat. Y'all, in this new series that takes place before the events of Lord of the Rings, there's not one ring. There are 20 rings. Oh, yeah.
I don't want to be the one to say it, but that's too many rings. We're going to lose one. We are not going to be able to keep track of all those rings. That is going to be too many.
Well, it's kind of like when you have the difference between, like, if you ever had this, like, in high school or anytime you, like, had to have a writing, utensil or whatever. If you had, like, 20 pins, for example, you were losing them left and right. But when you were down to your last pen or pencil, you held on to that sucker you had it forever. There's something about you're like, this is my only one. I can't lose this. So
Get on uppers. I wonder if you want to chime in on the things that you have so many of, and then you just get it down to one. You hold on to the one. For me, that's hair elastics. I will, because they come in a pack of 20. I will lose 19 of them within the first hour, and then I will hold on to the remaining one for at least 4 decades.
Oh, yes,
that's how
absolutely.
It goes. Yeah.
Well, and just to remind everybody, for like, how do I tell these lovely hosts what I'm thinking? You say is the magic word, so you just say, Echo, say hair tie,
Right.
or hair dye.
And if that's, I don't think that that's difficult to remember, but I think if you can recall the 1930s, what do you say about that? If you want to say it in a newsy voice or a 1930s voice, we'll welcome it. And I feel like Echo will be able to deduce what you're saying. Yes.
As I always do. You will say, my roommate, Britta guy, has an Echo device and it has renamed it. You can rename it. And it's renamed theirs computer, like in Star Trek, which you're also well versed in.
Very cool.
Computer,
yes.
Say, candy cane.
That's very, no, that is very Star Trek-y. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. James, not for now, but at some point during the show, at some point down the line, I have to tell you that I say that I don't love anything with dragons. And then, hold on, not done with the sentence, that I always do love something with dragons, but I won't initially start watching anything if it's got a dragon in it. I'm like, I don't need it. That's fine. And then I watch it like Game of Thrones, or what's the animated dragon one that I love so much? Last Dragon? Give me a dragon? DreamWorks' dragon?
Yeah, the DreamWorks dragon. Help us out. We're struggling. There's an animated dragon series. There's several of them. Yeah. How to Train Your Dragon. That's what it is.
How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon.
It's so good. Yes. Stacey says that her mom absolutely loves dragons, and I love Stacey's mom, and I love dragons, and for that reason, I'm going to change my state on it. I'm going to change it.
Yeah,
I'm going to change it.
Never forget, Stacey's mom is going to help us with our taxes.
Thank you.
As we decided from last week. So thank you for that, Stacey.
Thank you.
I haven't seen a single How to Train a Dragon series, and I'm a person who I like dragons. I'm into it. In fact, for me with Game of Thrones, it took too long for the dragons to get here. I'm like, I feel like everyone's like, ooh, look at these dragon bones. There used to be dragons. I'm like, show me the dragons. And then there were baby dragons, and it took them forever for them to be big, and she could fly on them. So
that's how you know. That's how you know. But yeah, I think
they learned their lesson, because the next Game of Thrones, and Renee, it's gonna take you a while to jump on board, because already with the title, you're gonna be like, I'm tuning out. The new one, there's a new HBO spinoff series called Game of Thrones: House of the Dragon. So Renee's already checked out.
But Game of Thrones won me over. It will keep me away. And the dragons are adorable. Pete's dragon's great. Dragons are great. But just in general, I find that if it's got a dragon in it, I'm going to get bored, and then I watch it and I'm not bored. So I don't know where that came from, but I do think it's going to be a lifelong journey of me being like, dragon, no thanks.
You got to therapize that one, Renee. Therapize your fear of dragons, your resistance to dragons.
Thank you. On the other angle, though, on the other hand, if it has a robot in it, I'm in blind. Yes, absolutely. Let's do it.
Because on every Wednesday so far, and we've done 2, so this is just, I have enough data, as Renee Brown might say. She's done it twice, so this is what she does.
This is enough data.
When we case closed, when we do This Has Potential on Wednesdays, yours is always about technology.
Won't shut up about robots. I love them so much.
You've not seen. Okay, so you don't watch a lot of the science fiction, and if you did, you would know to fear this, because like I've seen iRobot. That story about a robot who is falsely accused of murdering a human.
Okay, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Falsely accused. And then Terminator's all about how robot apocalypse. And then The Matrix, the robots turn us into batteries. So I think I have a resistance to this, but you are avoiding a lot of that content, I imagine, and so your ignorance is bliss. You're like, this looks cool. Massage me, robot. Massage me.
Absolutely. That wasn't weird. There is a massage robot that CES has presented. And Stacey's on your side, Jam. Stacey says, Renee, careful what you say. Get on the side of dragons. Stop trying to befriend robots. I get it. I respect it.
Always keeping Renee in line. That's what I
respect it.
Renee,
so much.
Let's get to the segment we've all been waiting for.
I love it.
Don't hold it back for a moment.
Here we go. It is time for accidental thirst traps. Pew 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 pew. Pew 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 pew. Very exciting. Now, avid listeners of the show will remember that last week when I introduced this segment, I showed you pictures of a cookie that I thought was great. I showed you some organization that I thought was very good. Wasn't a universal. We agreed that that is an attractive thing. So today I have stuck with like just unequivocally, like this isn't up for debate. Gorgeous people. They are.
Oh,
Oh my
okay.
goodness. Oh my goodness,
All
gorgeous.
right.
But the posts that I'm just like, I love you. I think are a little bit different. So the first one, and Nick, if we could please, can we put up David 1? If we get a chance. And I think once you look at it, you'll be like, okay, all right. So, there he is. There's our guy. There's a guy. Now, right?
Oh.
Is what we're working with a very attractive person right here. David
Mhm.
Carzell is his name, and he's an actor, he's a comedian, he's an improviser, but he takes his Instagram to do these video. And here's what I did: is I screen grabbed the video as it was going. So the photos that you're going to see is going to be him mid talking. But James, this is right up our alley. He does conversations with his self and his higher self. So he'll do like, my girlfriend doesn't want to do what I want to do. And then they're like, well, did you communicate properly? But then it's also him talking. And he does these videos of just like how to rationalize behaving better. And oh my God, James, someone who is self-aware, correcting themselves, apologizing. I love it.
Okay, great. But how can we follow him and also get in on the thirst of what's happening?
Sure. Yes. No, I'd love nothing more. Nick, do you mind making the photo in front
I
again
like
so
it.
I can look at his handle?
Exactly what I
I
see.
think it is. Well, here we go. Okay. So
David CRA. I feel like I'm doing an eye test. I'm
yeah,
back at the
CRAZE11. So his name is David Carzell, but the L's are the number 1. So David, like normal, CARZELL. And I'm telling you, it is it's really helpful, especially because you know how Instagram makes you have that like sort of despair and compare symptom of you're already in a bad place. So to watch these inspirational videos is really helpful, and beautiful, and I love it. I just love it so much. So that's it. Now, Jam, have I lost you? Are you still there? Jam may not be here. You guys, you may just have to deal with me for a second. If I know Jam, I don't think I do. He's coming right on back. And producer Nick, do I still have you? See, now this is why you don't trust robots. You guys, for those of you watching, for those of you
Hey, I'm
seeing,
here. I'm back.
Okay, I missed you so much.
Here's
On the
happened.
heels of you telling me not to trust a robot, and the robot takes you away from me. Takes you away. Yes, I'm listening. What happened, my love?
There's a little. Well, Renee, you have access to our private. We have not have the sausages made. No, we like to let you in on the backstage secrets. Hoda is not going to do this on the Today Show.
No.
She's not going to tell you what happened when they were off camera.
No.
If you look at the comments, Renee, you can see that I messaged to producer Nick. Thank you, Nick. Here's the one thing. I have, for whatever reason, coffee hits me in different ways, different times. I do a bio break right before we start the show. The tip moment. And sometimes even 30 minutes later into the show, I like have to go again.
Yeah.
And earlier this week, I, for an hour and a half, had to go to the bathroom the entire show. And by the end, if you saw the show, I was like, I gotta go.
I gotta go.
It wasn't over. Renee's like, oh, wait, okay. Yeah.
I just gotta go. No, that makes sense. I'm
like,
looking at the count. I don't see. I'm sure they're.
The little lockbox. It says going to the bathroom. Nick, can you take me off camera for a moment? And then you're doing such a great job. I was like, oh, good. She's just talking.
Doing it.
And then you were like, now Jam.
Jam, where'd you go? Oh, no, she didn't say it. She didn't say it. I get you. I feel like we could say that. And Stacy's still here, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Stacy says, I'm still here. And Stacy's right for that. And Stacy's correct.
I think he still will just disappear on you from time to time, and it's
fine.
It's sort of like, I think this is actually one of my this or that's, but it's like the scene in Wayne's World where Wayne, I just recently watched this, but a scene in Wayne's World where Wayne gets fired during the show, their big studio version of the show, and Garth is like left alone and freaks out. He's like, I can do this, and that's
Yeah, if I had a nickel for the amount of times I'm compared to Garth, and I'm thrilled to have it again.
You'll
I'm
have
gonna
10 cents.
just right on now. I'm gonna get you out of the segment in just a little bit. I have one more that I want to celebrate.
You
This is
better have at least
someone
2
you
more.
love and know. At least 2 more. You need 2 more? I can give
I
you
mean,
2 more.
Renee, this is my favorite
Yeah,
segment
it's your
of the
favorite
week.
segment. Okay, I can give you 2 more. I can give you 2 more. Nick, if we could please, can we do Utkarsh 1? Now, you guys know this guy. You love him. He is everyone's favorite person. Now, you guys probably know Utkarsh got his debut in Pitch Perfect. I'm going to say it, most talented rapper improviser you ever did see, and is currently starring in the CBS series Ghost. So now these pictures of Utkarsh, he's got a kiddo, and
The kiddo
this
is
photo,
adorable kid.
so cute. And his wife is stunning. And Utkarsh is very, very vocal about the fact that he's sober, and the things that he did before he got sober really prevented him from having all the good things in life. And so now that he's gotten sober, he's getting the career that he deserves, he's getting the family that he deserves. But the photos that he's showing are this is him holding his sweet, sweet baby on a plane. The baby wide awake, he is sound asleep. So it's the effort that matters,
Yeah.
that matters, and we love it so much. And then the other photo, Nick, is of him holding his babe yet again, partaking in some potato chips, and the chips may or may not be dropping on the kid's head. That's fine. It's fine.
Love
You're
it.
holding your
We
baby.
love
You're
it.
spending time with them. Utkar Shambukar, we love you so much. Now, is that another thirst trap, James? Come
Look
on.
at that. Yeah, I get it. Now we're halfway into the segment. I'm finally getting it. I am understanding.
You understand.
Yeah.
You understand. Yeah.
Let us know. Remember, say is the magic word. Ryan, welcome to Backchannel. You are watching Get On Up with Jam and Renee. And we're doing accidental thirst traps where Renee has scoured the Instagrams and social media so you don't have to find those not those ones that you would automatically like assume like, ooh, that's a thirst trap. That's thirsty, right? The ones that are like, oh, like it's accidentally you're like, I love this person more than I thought I could.
They're just right, exactly. And it's not, I think, I don't know about you, James, and I'm curious. I honestly get on uppers and wonder about you too. Is that when the thirst trap is obvious, when it's you at the beach?
Guilty. Okay. You're like,
Okay.
this
No, but
again,
you look
James.
great. You look
Sorry.
good, but it just feels for the average Joe, this one right here, unattainable. Like there's nothing, like I can't look at you. I can't. That's not, we're on different stratospheres. There's no way. But when you're showing yourself being a little bit flawed, me too. I get it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Those are my favorite.
Sign me up.
I love it.
Oh yes. It's so it's like when I follow Britney Spears' incredibly hot fiance, and I wonder why do I feel bad about myself when I go into Instagram and then just looking at his photos. Oh, okay. All right.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, good. So now let's take a little vote. Let's take a verdict. Is this a segment that we can continue, or two's enough? You had your chance. No more accidental thirst traps.
You know what? I will tell you. I thought I'm gonna give you some. You want some live feedback?
Yes, I do. Yes, that's. I don't think anyone's here for a polished presentation. We're all here to be a fly on the wall. What are you doing at 7:00 in the morning? How do you
figuring
survive?
it out? We got on up, and that's step one. You know. And I'm curious because Dakota, if you're there, shout it out. Let us know. Did you get on up eventually yesterday? Because I know Dakota was like, I'm staying put right here in this bed. So Dakota, let us know. Dakota from Florida, we'd love to hear. Renee, I gotta tell you, I think you nailed this was great this week as well. I mean, lovely. But I think last week I wouldn't have changed a thing about your
You would
segment.
have had more fun with last week. Okay.
I would have changed a thing.
Okay. So you are on
showing pictures of donuts and cookies and posting for those an organization. You already had it.
The inanimate objects is what you wanted. Okay. All right. Well, back to inanimate objects next week.
Who necessarily that is just like you love this woman who organizes things. You're like, oh, drool.
Oh boy. Oh god, this is so nice. Okay. All right. I get it. Listen.
I think you know what? A marriage of both, I would say. This is a winner too. They're both, it's a great segment. It's here every week, so prepare.
Love it.
It's put my foot
Okay.
down.
Okay.
Insist.
All
It's my
right.
favorite.
I love it so
My
much.
favorite.
James, I do have devastating news. We are out of time for this segment. We have to pop into the
Oh,
next one. I know
okay.
it's
Well,
devastating.
can it be Thursday already again? All right, so Sarah just joined the stream just in time. Sarah, perfect timing, and Sarah's first time to back channel. Right now, you're watching Get On Up with Jam and Renee, and Daniel also has joined the stream. Welcome, perfect timing, y'all, because it's Thursday, and we are doing our Thriving Thursday news segment. So Renee and I have looked through the Googles and through our Oprah magazines and newspaper subscriptions, and we look for those news stories that are thriving. So what are these stories that are absolutely thriving? And we're gonna share that with you. And if you like what you're hearing, or if you've heard of something that's thriving, feel free, say as the magic word, go echo, say, I saw that there is another Harry Potter coming out. That's not true. Or maybe you did see it. I don't know. You tell me.
Which would be great. That'd be wonderful. We'd take it. We'd take it if you did.
I will say,
yes, I'm listening.
This is what I would say into my Echo device. I will say, or I'm gonna say, there's a continuation of Harry Potter. This is not my thriving at the news. This is my
no, that's fine. That's fine.
Disappointed. Where's my Atlas book? My Brene Brown Atlas book. How do I describe my feeling?
Right.
There's a new Harry Potter play that was at the West End. It was on Broadway. It's a two-night event. It takes place like 10 years after the end of the last Harry Potter, and it's a continuation. It's called The Cursed Child, and it's like adult Harry and G.D. Weasley and Hermione Granger.
Oh boy. Okay.
It's all of them, and it's supposed to be a 2-night event, and now it's here in San Francisco. I'm like, ooh, can't wait. I'm gonna take a date, and then it's supposed to be a 2-night event. They've shriveled it down to 1. So it's a little disappointing because I feel like, how can I go to this knowing I'm not getting the full story,
the full event? Yeah,
and I guess it's because they're doing it as a tour. I don't know. It's dumb. I'm not happy, and I should have saw it when I was in New York.
I'm sorry. No, I don't. No, that is disappointing, and I would be disappointed about it. And I don't think that anything is done forever. So I bet that they blow it back up to the thing that it was initially supposed to be at some point. You'll get to see that. But I also would be
a lot of
disappointed.
story. No, yeah. Because like I'm just gonna be watching the entire time, knowing I'm only getting half the story.
Getting a little bit.
I'm only getting a little bit. Or maybe they made the right cuts. But you know what? I love a long movie. Give me a long movie. Give me a long story. I'm here for it. I love a story.
I love it. I have a friend here in Los Angeles who is, I think, not as big a Harry Potter fan, but she's definitely in the realm, and she is flying up to see it. So it's a big deal. A big deal. And she had the same
1-night event.
No, she had the same like, oh man, I should have sounded like New York, but I think you both are going to be happy. Well, I'll be curious to see how you feel about it. Okay.
That's what we have to go again. Okay, I have two thriving news stories.
Great.
It's internet. We're going international. Get on your plane. Get your mask on. Get on your plane. And here we go.
Get your snacks.
So this is wild. So 90% Australia is thriving right now.
Okay, Australia, tell me everything.
One, because they kicked out that tennis player who lied about their vaccination status for the Australian Open. Did you hear about that?
Wait, hold on real quick. No, I did not. Tell me that story real fast.
I'll circle back to it because it connects to my this or that. Okay, we'll circle back to that. Good, giving you information you don't know about. 90% of Australians are fully vaccinated.
Oh, Australia. Great work.
It's close to 90%.
Love it.
Yeah. And vaccine hesitancy is at 9.6% compared to 11.5%. This is Australia. This is in Australia. Okay. Yeah. Yes. And as Australia opens up, whilst other countries in Europe lock down, and with the Omicron, it is essential that the population receives boosters to enhance. So they're still working on it. But 90% vaccination.
That's incredible. Wow. Yeah. God, that must feel so nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there are there cases obviously indicating such a thing? I'm sure. They've been doing it right the whole time. As far as like,
it's a little bit easier because they are a giant island, right? A little bit easier on that sense. But people just did the right thing. People, they took it. It's a public, what is it? A public health safety thing or public health? It's a public health crisis, and so that's not only me looking out for my own health, but that of the public. So we're really quote High School Musical, the TV show. We're all in this together. You and me, we can be, and we get vaccine together. All in this together. I actually don't know if that is a song in High School Musical, the TV show.
Yes.
But I would assume they have to sing that.
Certainly. Well, because if they're presenting High School Musical, that's in High School Musical. So I would think.
You've seen a few episode or two. Is that in the episode?
I remember being like, this is delightful. So clearly it had to be that song that made me arrive at that opinion. I'm sure. Yeah.
Or are they like, you're expecting them to do it and they're like, we're good. You know what, everybody? We're all doing this at the same time. Or they tease it up and they never really get to it. Let us know if you've seen High School Musical, the musical. Do they sing "We're all in this together"? Speak into your Echo device, say "Echo," say, and then there you go.
There you go. And there you go. Okay. Well, I love that. Okay. So the things that are thriving is that Australia is 90% vaccinated.
Yes, I have another one where actually this isn't international. This is actually right here in our own backyard. We're talking about Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory, part of the United States. Never forget. Hopefully, the 51st state. Let's do it if they want it. It's complicated. But the people of Puerto Rico, they want it. Let's give it to them. Okay, so a federal judge approved a plan yesterday that will resolve Puerto Rico's bankruptcy and restructure its $33 billion debt. Now, this decision comes nearly 5 years after Puerto Rico became the first U.S. state or territory to essentially declare bankruptcy. And this is really all in part, you just, really look at the history of Puerto Rico. It's because of the power of hedge funds, of investment bankers. Bankers have really had over the territory's assets. Like Puerto Rico's just been on such a journey of just trying to stand on their own 2 feet. Right. And United States and other countries really just taking advantage of them and their resources and not giving them, again, full access to, being part of the United States and just taking their resources. Kind of feels a little colony-ish. And didn't we have a thing against that?
Yeah, we sure did.
Hey, we don't like these colonies. Wasn't that a thing, America? Yes. We can do better. I believe in us. Yes. So since then, the Puerto Rican government has really struggled to recover economically. I mean, they've had many natural disasters that have happened, but this new deal will reduce the territory's debt by 80% and save the government from $50 billion in debt payments. So that's pretty exciting. That's incredible. This deal is considered to be the largest public sector debt restructuring deal in the United States history. And then in a statement yesterday, Governor Pedro Pierluisi said, and I quote, "The agreement, while not perfect, is very good for Puerto Rico and protects our pensioners, university, and municipalities that serve our people." And so the federal government continues to exercise significant control over Puerto Rico's economy and citizens who live there, like a number of constitutional protections available in other states. So that looks good. It maybe is like this has potential because it's not fully baked yet, but it does look like Puerto Rico is on its way to being more thriving than it's been in a long time. And again, these are things that it's not its fault. It really has been ransacked and taken advantage of by many a westernized power who's not really helped it be what it can fully be. Right.
Of course. Wow. Those are amazing. You got 2 good stories there. Very, very nice. I love it so much. I'm going to get us back to international. You ready?
Wow. All right. Yeah. Getting on the plane.
I got one more thriving. And how we feeling? Get on numbers. Right.
Perfect timing. We're gonna hear another story for Thriving Thursday of some things that are thriving.
Some things that are thriving. Now, James,
Destiny's Child, hit me. Boom, 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 boom.
I love it. Perfect impression. Almost as if we were playing the actual song right now. I genuinely feel. I think I'm speaking.
Do you know what song I was doing?
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you go. Way-oh, way-oh. I said boom, boom, boom. And let me hear you go way out. Way out. From Jock Jams, Volume 6. Am I wrong?
Well, the lead was, let me quote Destiny's Child. But you're close. You're so
I figured you switched it at the last second, and you're like, no, you know what? I'd rather do a Jock Jams quote.
Because you know that I can never pick a lane. I will start off doing Destiny's Child and then do Jock Jams. Or, you know, I'm doing a Harry Potter impression and then I'm doing Selma Hayek. Like, I just can't.
Of course.
I can't stay in a lane. So
no, that's what you can't stay in a lane.
It was Lose My Breath by Destiny's Child. In the beginning, they go, hit me. Boom, 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 boom. There's drums. And that's not how the drums sound, but I can't do it. I can't do it right. Okay. I can't do it.
All right.
Mary knows. Let me know, Mary.
I think you can do it right. I think you're doing great. I think you were better at staying in lane than anyone I know. You were the most organized person I've ever met in my entire life. You are so good at staying on track. But I appreciate that you're versatile. You can say, let me quote Destiny's Child, and then I can say she's probably going with Jock Jams. And you can make that seem right. Back to international. Go ahead. Put your mask back on. Get your snacks. Put your eye mask on. Here we go. We're going to Taiwan. The sweetest little story. And James, you were a young puppy. And my get on uppers, I guarantee you guys you're thriving. You're killing it at life. For someone who is sitting comfortably in middle age, you can get the notion, you can get the thought of every now and again when there's something that needs to be changed or something that you want to try to pursue, you're like, I'm too old for that. I can't do it. I'm too old for that. So these kind of stories, I'm just like, oh God, I have no excuse. So it is
to be fair, we are both Jurassic millennials. As we've been dubbed. We are both Jurassic millennials. So
I hate to bring that up again, and I'm so sorry. But and we do agree that Jurassic feels better than and I think it was Clever Girl.
Very accurate. Right? Oh, Clever Girl millennials.
Clever Girl millennials.
Yes. We are Clever Girl millennials. Well, I was just going to remind folks of what are we talking about. Renee brought up there's an article or something that referenced like millennials, older millennials as geriatric millennials, and so we took some time to rebrand ourselves. And we went with, I believe it was Tim from New Hampshire shouted out Jurassic millennials because who doesn't love a Jurassic Park? And then we Renee zhuzhed it up even more and took the famous quote from Jurassic Park, "Clever girl," referring to the raptors. So we're clever girl
millennials. Thank you. And I think we all know what that means when we say that. No further explanation. We all get it.
Like, James, you just wasted 5 minutes of your show.
Disagree. No, we all needed it. We needed the explanation, and the story is quick. So I thank you. I thank you for giving us a little clover of it. Coming right back into it. This happened 14 years ago, an 84-year-old military veteran who took a government area that was a little torn down and a little run down and just painted it beautifully in rainbow colors, did mural in a way that it has now become a tourist attraction. But the government has been like, hey, we don't need this anymore. We're going to tear it down. And this now 98-year-old military vet was like, wait. It brings a lot of people joy. It's a beautiful area of the city. Could we please keep it? Fought to keep it up, and it remains today. So someone who is thriving is not only this government-owned village that looked crummy that he zhuzhed up with rainbows, but now this 98-year-old man who is fighting for the good of the city to keep this around. And so he's thriving, the village is thriving, rainbows are thriving, tourists who check it out are thriving. It's just a really beautiful story of just like, let's keep the pretty things. Could we please keep the pretty things? And they are.
Keep pretty things. Oh, this is so great. I would love to hear Get On Uppers. We've heard 3 amazing, thriving out the news stories. What are your thoughts, reactions? Are you feeling good? You can comment through your Echo device if you are on one that allows you to see us and see comments as well, or to hear us as well. You'll hear our comments there. But yes, you can just enter your device, say, I love these stories. It sounds great. You can, I love what I hear. You can say, I love what I hear. Echo.
There you go. You could say it. You sure could say it. I am very excited, James, to tell you that it's 7:58. You know what happens in 2 minutes?
What happens in 2 minutes?
Second hour of the show. I just think it's a victory to make it to the second hour.
Yeah, that's great. And look who
Very
we
excited.
still got with us. Freddie from Louisiana. We got Abigail from Oklahoma, Nathan from Texas, Lorna from Alabama, Dakota from Florida, wondering if they got out of bed, and Mary listening to us, just giving us a good old listen on whatever device you are on. So, but if you are on your Echo device or have one, you can go over to Backchannel, open that up, and then you'll get to interact with us. And we can't wait to hear what you have to say. We can't wait for that.
So excited to have you guys around this Friday Eve. Now, I know it's Thursday, but I refer to it fondly as Friday Eve.
Oh, Stacey, I'm so sorry. How did I forget? Stacey from Texas. Stacey, thank you for calling me out. Stacey, our third Beetle over here, and I totally forgot. Stacey, I am remiss. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. Stacey, let me know if you forgive me, or it's okay. You don't have to forgive me, and I'll make it up to you. So you let me know. If I'm still in the doghouse, let me know when I get out of it. So sorry, Stacey. I feel terrible. Renee, I have to go. You're going solo.
No. You got this.
All got
this.
this.
We all got this. We're going to be
messed up. I messed it up this morning. Failure. All right.
Absolutely did not.
Oh, okay. Stacey, giving you the biggest hug this morning because Stacey just said, I always forgive people who apologize no matter what. I think that is a beautiful philosophy to have. It's just, it's so great. Put it on a pillow immediately.
Yes.
And I think Stacey's right. Again, forgiveness, it really comes down to that. How much are we as human beings holding on? What I love that Stacey just said was like, Stacey, like, I apologize. Stacey's like, all right, let's move on. I'm not going to hold on to that because, as Oprah says, this is just the what Oprah and Brene Brown say.
Oprah episode, yeah.
I mean, isn't every episode? But when you hold on to that, it's like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies, right? Like you're drinking in all that bitterness, and the other person, they're living their live long life. So
true.
Stacey,
it's so true.
Incredibly wise. Thank you. Appreciate.
Stacey, very wise. To piggyback on that, I heard some great advice regarding the notion of forgive and forget, and I think it is good to forgive. Absolutely, Stacey, you're 100% correct. I'm gonna put a little bit. Well, I don't know about that forget part because you got to create those boundaries. You can't forget that. Oh, maybe this person took advantage of me. So forgive, but don't forget, and create boundaries. It's my version.
You're telling Stacey to forgive me, but don't forget that I messed up.
Not with you.
Don't forget.
Not with you. Not with you. You were perfect in every way.
We're going to get to our next segment, but I am curious. Did you or our listeners remember, daytime television in the 90s, so many talk shows. There were so many. And one of my favorite short-lived ones was called Forgive or Forget. And please let me know, Get On Uppers, if you've heard of this show. Say I remember, or say never heard of that into your device. Essentially the show was, someone had done essentially it was like a talk show, right? Renee, you took my cookies on Thursday, and you knew I love my cookies. And then I would be asked, I would be behind one of the doors. There's the forgiveness door, and it'd be like ding dong, and you'd go check to see if I was there at the forgiveness door. Ooh. And sometimes you'd open the door and the person was not there, so they did not forgive. I don't know why it's called Forgive and Forget, because we only really did the forgiveness portion of it. Oh, and look, see, Stacey, I'm not alone. Stacey's heard of that show, and so it's very, very good and teaches you about forgiveness. It really does, yeah.
There you go.
So you would air out your dirty laundry on national television, and then be asked to go behind the door and see if the person was there. And sometimes they weren't, and it was so sad.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Well, but it teaches you some things. I love it. What a concept. We love it. We love it so much. Yeah. I mean, honestly, they should probably make more shows about that, right?
Renee, is there someone that you need to forgive?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not quite done with my grudge. I'm not quite done. I'm gonna listen to Stacey.
Okay. So we're gonna play Forgive and Forget. I'm the host, and I'm like, okay. Renee just had it out with Chester.
Yes.
Let's see if Renee is behind the door.
Yeah.
Ding dong. Chester could open the door. Walking over. I hope Renee forgives me. I said I was sorry. Opens the door. And what does he see? What does he see?
Folded arms saying like, I'm here, but I'm not done with my grudge.
Wow.
Yeah,
there it is. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Forget and Forget. I was not expecting I plot twist.
Yeah.
Viewers, Get On Uppers, listeners, I was not expecting Renee to be at the door. I was not expecting. Did you know that you were going to be at the door? Did you go through this journey?
Well, I did sign. I didn't. I'm famous for not reading the fine print of a contract. So the producer shoved it in my face, and I was just like, "Yeah, there you go." And then I was like, "Well, I'm going to leave." And they're like, "You just signed the contract. You have to be there." Okay. And so I made it. I made it my own. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Well, good television, because I was not expecting you to be there. That took me for a loop. All right. So it's time for Throwback Thursday. It is our history segment of the week. We got to learn you something so that we have, that thing to bring up. It is Throwback Thursday. Bayard Rustin is the name of the game today. So we celebrated MLK's birthday this past week, but I'd be remiss if we didn't also talk about someone that really doesn't get enough attention about their involvement in the civil rights movement and even the work that Martin Luther King Jr. was doing. And the reason why is because he was a homosexual. And so he was cast aside for a lot of different things. So there is a picture of Bayard just at work on the phones doing stuff. So we're going to learn some stuff about Bayard Rustin today. So was born in
what a sweetie pie. I like him.
I know. Was born in Westchester, Pennsylvania on March 17, 1912, a long time ago. The town was a pretty white town, but had some segregation, which to me is, you usually think about segregation down in the South, but listen, segregation and racism happen all over. And in fact, to this day, some of the most segregated towns are actually up in the North because of things like redlining, where they have certain districts where that's a whole other subject that we can put a pin in that. But again, racism knows no bounds there. So he also refused to sit in the section of a bus as a young teen. So just sparking revolution. He was already doing it. He comes from the practice. He was a Quaker, which would come into play with his philosophies. Quakers are all about nonviolence. They were early adopters into slavery abolition, and they love themselves some oatmeal. So I love the Quakers. There's so many great philosophies that the Quakers really had, and they really talk about people who adopt their walk the talk in terms of like their religious practices and really out there doing the work. So when he was a kid, he played football, and apparently he was like really good. And at school, he was, really cool. People loved him, but racism would just seep into all of the different areas of his life. So Julia and Jennifer, he thought were his parents, but turned out, plot twist, they were his grandparents, and Florence was actually his sister. So he had a very interesting, upbringing of information. He came out to his grandmother and when he was a kid, just like a teenager. And this is like early 1900s. This is wild. There's not even barely any language around this. But in the early 1900s, he came out. It sounds like so far away. In the early 1900s, he came out to. There's a picture of him working with school children that he did in his later in his life. But he came out to his grandmother, and she was like, "Oh, I guess this is just how life is for you." And she never had any shame for him around him being gay. It was like, oh, this is just who he is. He went to Wilberforce University in Ohio and to Cheney State Teachers College, which makes sense. You see this picture of him teaching the young kids. Both were historically Black schools. He was, though, kicked out for organizing. The food was bad. And he was like, all right, we got to organize against this. And they kicked him out because he was too much of a rabble rouser. Has that ever happened to you, Renee? You were rabble rousing? Oh, okay. I see exactly what's happening. So he moved to NYC and lived in Harlem. And about 1930. And then Rustin sang in nightclubs to earn money, and he once appeared with Paul Robeson in the Broadway musical John Harry. But he also found other ways to channel his energy and his outrage against racism as just being a talented organizer. So curious from the Get On Uppers, let us know if you have heard of Bayard Rustin or anything like that. I haven't gotten to the meat of his activism yet, but just curious. You can chime in the comments if you've heard about Bayard Rustin before. So in the 1930s, he had joined the Young Communist League before he became disillusioned with its activities and resigned, essentially because he felt like it really wasn't the intersectionality of it. It really wasn't. Oh, and Stacey, you've never heard of these things before. Okay, great. Well, I'm learning about Bayard. Really, really amazing figure. Wait till you hear about all the great work and stuff that he's done. So he left the Communist League. He was involved with the Communist League, but eventually it was like, you know what, this isn't really the intersectionality of it. It wasn't focused on, more diverse struggles of people of color, Black folks, and things like that. But when the war hit, I was saying, Communist Party didn't really care about the Black struggles any longer, and so he was like, okay, I gotta get out. I gotta find something that really speaks to my community's journeys and struggles here. So he modeled his philosophies after a few different things. So the Quaker religion was one, and the Quaker religion, the nonviolent resistance taught by Mahatma Gandhi, and the socialism espoused by Black labor leader A. Philip Randolph. So that's where a lot of his foundations came from. Were those three entities. He also spent some time in Africa and in India. He was meeting with other peace organizations because, in India as well, they had, not only were they, essentially occupied by England. And here's a great quote from him. He says, we need an everyday community, a group of angelic troublemakers. So that's a great quote. We can throw that back up there at the end, but just really great messages from this man. And but anyways, like in India, he right after Gandhi had been assassinated, he went there, but he studied with his students as well. So he's really all about this non-violent resistance training, which is so interesting because that's what Dr. King is so noted for. And so where do you think he got some of those training and ideas from? Mr. Bayard Rustin. So yes, essentially, so the idea with, if you're not familiar with nonviolent resistance, the idea is that essentially you use your power of your body to shut things down. Can be really intense to do. And here's a picture of him with Dr. King as well. So he worked with A. Philip Randolph, who started the first Black labor union, the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. And A. Philip Randolph was like a mentor and worked with him to fight discrimination in the military. A lot of Black folks were train porters or car porters. My grandfather, actually, I come to find out, worked as a porter as well, traveling all around the country. So we also have AJ Must, I think I'm saying his name right, Muste, who was a minister and a pacifist and an activist who introduced Bayard to the ways of Gandhi. So that's where it all kind of started from. But AJ Must, who was also an activist and a minister into like, pacifism and these same sort of ways, these nonviolent ways of protesting. He was not a fan of Bayard being gay because he knew that Bayard was a very talented and powerful man, but he saw this as, it was going to impede on his career. So he tried several times to break up him and his boyfriend, which is just incredibly scandalous. So incredibly scandalous. He was like trying to break him up. Don't love that. Not great. But again, these are the times that we're living in. So much has absolutely changed. I mean, listen, I'm here live on a show this morning being my full authentic self. And it's because of folks like Bayard Rustin who laid down the groundwork for that. So we also had the Fellowship of Reconciliation, which was an American Service Committee of War Resistors League. So Bayard joined this. It was mostly a white group of folks, but this allowed him to, one, get a title, two, get a platform, and he had a community of folks who were listening to him. He had a newsletter, a network, and he had experience organizing. So it just really helped with him in terms of building his brand and his expertise and what it is that he knew to do. So he also traveled preaching the gospel of love and nonviolence. He just saw this as a way of life. So again, it makes sense. It connects to his days as a Quaker way back when. All right. And then when we get to World War II, dun, 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 he was like, hold up. I'm a Quaker and a pacifist. I can't do this because, again, they were like, all right, everyone got to go over there and fight the Nazis. And he was like, no, I'm a Quaker and a pacifist. I can't do it. I can't go over there and kill other folks, my fellow humans. I'm not about that. So he actually said in a quote, I mean, that was me just paraphrasing. He didn't actually say this, but here's what he actually said. I am a Quaker, and as everyone knows, Quakers for 300 years have on consensus ground, but against participating in war. I was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison because I could not religiously and consciously accept killing my fellow man. Pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. And I have to say, I think about this. I think we were talking about this earlier this week. I would be in the same boat. I don't think I could do it. I could not go over and kill another human being. So he went to jail. He was released after the war. And, Renee, I'm so curious. Have you heard any of the stories about Bayard before? Just take a quick little pause here. Is any of this, have you heard of him?
Yes, I have heard of him before. I did not know the detail with which he had you should, like, when you know of someone who does this, you're just like, oh God, I bet I don't know half the story. And turns out, yeah, she sure didn't. The amount of things that he overcame is, I don't, none of that is in my constitution. It is just the strength is, it's profound.
I mean, it's pretty phenomenal.
Humbling.
Again, like in these times when we don't even have the terminology that, I mean, the fact he, came out to his grandmother and she was like, okay, baby, like you do you.
Yeah.
And I just amazing. Just such to have that such a fighting spirit in himself, just to like be his full authentic self.
Right.
How the languages. There was no Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart. Tell me how you're feeling.
Absolutely not.
That.
No, not at all.
Around 1947, he got into some trouble with the police in North Carolina, traveling with his group from the Freedom of Reconciliation group. There was an interracial group called the Journey of Reconciliation. They were doing nonviolent and pacifist demonstrations in the South. So while touring, this activist group, they were, spreading, again, his main bread and butter messages of love. Like, it was really just, it was just this band of folks. And this is before the 60s and 70s. This is 1947, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Before.
Right. Yay. Okay.
So Bayard refused to sit in the back of the bus. Sound familiar? Right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And he was like, I mean, this was a big deal. Remember, I said this is Northern Carolina, which is still the South. And they were, not about that. And he was arrested, and he said that he refused. This is what he refused to sit further in the back of the bus because there was a small white child sitting there. And he said that if he went to the back, that child would think that this was normal. And he needed that child to see that it was not normal. What an imprint, because there was all this kerfuffle over it. And it's like, oh, think like, oh, well, why? And there's a conversation, and that would stick with that kid.
Right. Wow.
He was forced to work in a chain gang for several weeks, but remember, this is Bayard. He's smart. Remember, he got thrown out of school because he was, challenging that their food was terrible and started a revolt. So he was like, this is, to quote my aunt, monked up. Monked up?
Correct. That's correct.
He's like, I don't feel human. This is awful, and the world must know. And so he wrote an article that was published in the National News, and it brought an end to the Northern Carolina chain gang because of his experience. Power of the word, Mr. Bayard. Yeah. In 1953 in California, he was arrested on moral charges.
Okay.
This was something that is still in effect today. Different, states and laws have these different laws, but essentially, like he was a man being with another man, and he was arrested. He was actually, to be fair, he was, well, who cares? This is his life. He was actually with two gentlemen suitors.
Great.
And
Absolutely.
living his
We're
best
sex
life.
positive
Living his
here.
best life.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but because of this, the guy Moose, who he was working with at one of the organizations, fired him over this. But Adolf Philip Randolph got him a job at the War Resisters League, where he'd work for the next 12 years. So you set up, now enter him working with King. So now we're going to enter into that. And I think we have a few pictures of we've already seen one, but they were collaborating with each other. So he was a mentor for King. Welcome, Aaron is
Hi, Aaron.
just in time. Aaron, this is Throwback Thursday. We are covering Bayard Rustin, civil rights activist, leader, behind a lot of these great movements and moments with Dr. King. Got no credit or zero credit because he was gay. So it is King Week. We want to make sure that we're acknowledging one of the big folks who had an involvement in that march on jobs and freedom, where you had the infamous "I Have a Dream" speech.
Yes.
So he was a mentor for King, and they, oftentimes they communicated through short visits, memos, letters, books, and here's the thing, as I mentioned earlier, he was super into nonviolence and pacifism, and he had gone to India. He worked with disciples of Gandhi, and was giving that information in that way, and that's a lot of what King is known for, right? And so he was bringing him a lot of this information in this way of being. He met Dr. King in the 1950s and became a strategist and right-hand man. He taught King about Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolent resistance and advised him on the tactics of civil disobedience. So all of these things that Dr. King is so known for, Bayard was his Obi-Wan Kenobi to get science fiction-y on you. In terms that I think everyone can understand. He was his Gandalf, if you will. He was his Morpheus.
Yes. Ooh, getting them all. Great. Yes. And honored.
Out of all.
Yeah.
One thing I love is, do you know any of those words that I just?
I do. I honestly, weirdly, I know all of those. And then I was going to add Jiminy Cricket, but that's not cool enough. That won't work. Orpheus is. That's perfect. Yeah.
He was his Jiminy Cricket, as some might say.
No one would say that. Renee would say that and then immediately regret it. That's how that would go.
We're like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Gandalf, Dumbledore, Morpheus,
Jiminy Cricket.
Okay, all right. Or Piglet from Winnie the Pooh.
There we go. Piglet, yeah. Of those, I like Orpheus. I think Orpheus is the coolest, right? I mean, Yoda's the cutest.
Oh, Yoda's a good one as well. Yeah, that is a good one. Okay, so back to our Yoda, our Jiminy Cricket, whichever one. Which one did you like out of those? In referencing Bayard as the teacher and guide, you can say, you can into your device, go echo, say Jiminy Cricket, and we'll see it, and we'll know that that's what you voted for. All right, so. He assisted King with the bus boycotts of 1956 because he's like, hello, I've done this before. I know how to civil disobedience on a bus. Been doing this since I was a kid. Take notes. I got this.
Yes.
And he was the main organizer for the March on Jobs and Freedom in 1963. And again, too, what I'd like to really highlight is this protest that Dr. King spoke at. Bayard also spoke at. There's a really great speech that he does as well. It was for jobs and freedom, right? There was so much because Dr. King understood the racial economic ties, right? We have a caste system that is tied to economics. And so it really was, it's for everybody that, there were that, to quote High School Musical, the musical, the TV show, we really are all in this together. Oh, we're doing.
I just wanted to give you a little underscore, just a little underscore. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. So in 1965, and so again, like really, he was the main organizer. That thing was huge. And Bayard Rustin does not get enough credit for his organizing of that. Dr. King, again, no shade or anything, but just showed up. Just showed up and let him talk,
Yeah.
And in fact, Martin wasn't originally going to do the "I Have a Dream" part of it. It wasn't originally part of that speech. He had done it actually the night before at a church congregation meeting, and there was a woman who was nearby, and she's like, "Tell him about the dream, Martin. Tell him about the dream." And then he goes into it, but he originally was not a part of his original speech.
Yeah, we need to know both that woman's name and Byron's name. This is crazy, in a wonderful way. Thank you for bringing such light to this.
Yeah. So in 1965, Rustin and his mentor, A. Philip Randolph, co-founded the A. Philip Randolph Institute, a labor organization for African American trade union members. And so he said, Martin Luther King, with whom I've worked very close with, became very distressed when a number of ministers working for him wanted him to dismiss me from his staff because of my homosexuality. So again, after all that work that he's been doing, they're like, "Oh, you gotta, stay away from him," and because he's gonna ruin your, brand, to quote a Kardashian term, if I will. And eventually, A. Philip Randolph put Rustin in charge of the march. J.F. Kennedy was also like, "Don't do the march; it'll undermine my authority on the Civil Rights Act," which Kennedy had proposed, but it stalled in Congress. Sounds familiar? Things stalling in Congress. Storm Thurmond attacked Rustin on the Senate floor by outing the, Pasadena sexy time incident where he was arrested because he had, two gentlemen lovers in a car. And so on the Senate floor, isn't this wild? Someone's like, he's not in office. He's just an activist attacking his character. But that's how wild these times were of like, he was an out and proud homosexual. That's what they called it at the time. He's out and proud homosexual. Does it sound so 1950s?
It is very, exactly. Every time you say it, I was just like, that's too many syllables. That's no. Come on.
He was out and proud homosexual. And Randolph defended Rustin, and it made Rustin the most famous homosexual of the time. Absolutely.
Look at that. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I'm listening.
King eventually chose to distance himself from Bayard because he was getting pressure, and reporters in opposition were going to out Bayard and then say that the two were having a gay love affair. So their relationship was really up and down because of this. And in fact, when you watch Selma, Bayard is in it, but they only have a phone call conversation because he was having to keep his distance at that time. If you watch that movie Selma. So when the segregation of the buses was found unlawful, Bayard started the Southern Leadership Conference, where King was the first president and helped him to the main stage. And Bayard saw victories as opportunities for the national stage and attention. So fascinating that Bayard is, creating. Dr. King is known for his involvement with the Southern Leadership Conference. All these things that Bayard helped build. And hats off to this man because, no ego involved. He's like, all right, the work. Oh, you can't talk to me right now? Well, I'm still going to do the work in the shadows. That's fine. Because the work was even more important. So, yeah. He wrote a controversial piece, From Protest to Politics, arguing that the movement needed to move to the political stage, focus attention on electing liberals and less on protests. So people are like, wait, you were telling us to protest. You just organized that thing. And he's like, no. We need to start taking office. He was like, we need to move out of the streets and into the Congress. So that's what he was saying. He would spar with Malcolm X in debates. They're great. I think there's actually a photo that we have. Actually, they're not together, just some spliced photo. But there is YouTube footage of Bayard and Malcolm X debating. Very fascinating. Bayard didn't think that there needed to be two different Americas because he, was of the mind that we're all the same human race. So he also had, all kinds of different hurdles working with, Lyndon B. Johnson as well. Especially when we talk about Vietnam, he Bayard was really focused on the war on poverty, and Rustin called for the troops to be pulled out, and he was one of the first people calling people to bring those troops home out of Vietnam, but kept silent to not alienate LBJ. So he was, I don't know how this works. He was calling for the troops, but then he, I guess, backpedaled and got silent about it because he was like, "Oh, I don't want to."
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's tricky. It's tricky to be like, "Can you do?" No, I have to go through all those hoops. Well, then never mind. So I get it. I think the amount of times of like, we're gonna change this with those parameters. No, never mind. That's fine.
Not gonna do it.
I get it.
So wrapping this up, he did go over to Algeria in 1959 to France. France was testing their own nuclear weapons, and he was like, "Oh no, we do not need more of those." So he went over there to shut it down. And it sparked protests amongst the people of Algeria. So they didn't actually shut it down, but it put spotlight on it. So it gave it worldwide attention. And Bayard Rustin died of a ruptured appendix in New York City on August 24th, 1987, at the age of 75.
Wow.
He was incredibly charismatic. He had an amazing voice. It's noted that he could have been an entertainer. He was such a charmer, and people really listened to him. He was also incredibly funny. He had an album, and he also became a gay rights activist in the 80s. And he was, for him, he said, the barometer for judging the character of people in regard to human rights is now those who consider themselves gay, homosexual, lesbian. And the judgment as to whether you can trust the future, the social advancement, depending on people, will be judged on whether they come out on that question. So whether they're going to be human. And Barack Obama awarded Bayard the Medal of Freedom in 2013. And lastly, he said, if we desire a society of peace, then we cannot achieve such a society through violence. If we desire a society without discrimination, then we must not discriminate against anyone in the process of building the society. If we desire a society that is democratic, then democracy must become a means as well as an end. Bayard Rustin, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody.
Pew, pew, pew. My goodness, pew, pew, pew. Also, you know who else we tip our hat to? You, Jam. That was incredible. That was such an incredible presentation. You were very talented. Very, very talented. I loved it. I learned so much. Yes.
Uppers. You can say into your Echo device. I let us know if you had heard anything about Bayard, if anything sticks out, or did I miss anything? Y'all are very well versed. Did I miss anything about Bayard? Would you like to see a movie starring James?
Yes.
Speak, and you can speak. Echo, say yes. I would like to see James playing the part of Bayard. And Aaron said that was all news to me. Thank you. It's so wild. I mean, he just unsung hero. Not enough people know about this man and his connection. He should be taught right along with Martin Luther King, Jr.
Really,
and X and all of them. So yeah,
truly is.
Snap! This just in from our producer. There's a movie coming out already. Sorry, James. That's okay, because you can have many a movie about. I'll do the Netflix series. That's fine.
Yes. Okay. You can do the Netflix series. Well, now I want to know about this movie. Nick, do you know any more? Who's going to play in it? Who's making it? Nick, if you got time, hop on. Give us the details.
You got a moment? You're busy?
No, I'm here.
I like
Nick, what do you have time? If you could.
If I got time, as if I'm not sitting here doing a tech with you guys. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know what company is producing it. I know Dustin Lance Black is writing it, who is famous for writing Milk. And
cool.
Domingo Coleman is playing Bayard Rustin. If you're not familiar with Domingo Coleman, he is in Euphoria as Rue's sponsor. He's also in a number of things. He teaches acting at USC, interestingly, as his own side hustle.
No kidding.
But phenomenally talented guy, really, really talented. One of my favorite present day actors. He just has such a good presence about him. So.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Maybe I could play young Bayard. He's a little bit older.
You might be able to angle yourself for young Bayard.
All right. Gonna go submit my headshot and resume as soon as we're done.
Perfect. Nick, thank you so much for letting us know about that. This is very cool. All
right, back to the shadows I go.
Come back. I'm gonna scoot that into our thriving segment. That movie, it's thriving. They've made a movie about it.
You should on over there. Okay, Renee, I went a little bit long, but do you want to play this or that?
I sure do. Yes, please. I would love nothing more. I would love nothing more. Now, this or that. This is where we give you a scenario, and then you, my sweet, sweet get on uppers, let us know if you would choose this or that. Now we're gonna start it. We're gonna start it real easy. We're gonna start it real easy. Would you rather? It's also a variation of would you rather. Would you rather? That's it. That's basically
we
it.
don't have the rights to that, so we can't say that.
Okay, so it's this or that. This or that. M&Ms or Skittles. This is M&Ms. That is Skittles. Would you rather this or that? This M&M, that Skittles. Yes.
You could even just really simple into your device, say this or echo say that. Look at that, Aaron on the game. That. Aaron with that.
Aaron's with Skittles. Yeah.
Wow.
I appreciate it. Jam, where are you laying with this?
Oh, I'm going Skittles. Is that the that?
That's that. Two that's.
Yeah,
two that.
No, this is also they have peanut M&Ms, and I'm not down with that. I'm allergic.
Can't do it. Are you really? I don't think I knew that.
Oh no.
M&Ms. Okay.
No,
well,
I can't do it. I don't like it. I'll get very grumpy. It's bad. I've had some gnarly experiences. We'll talk about it another day.
Okay. All right. Well, I will put M&Ms on blast. Aaron says, big question, no caramel M&Ms. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like M&Ms across the board need to do better.
Because they just do too many fancy things. I feel like for the most part, Skittles are pretty basic, and I mean that in the best way possible. Except the purple bag is a little. The flavors, although I feel like they all taste the same, it's just my head makes it think like they're different. But
got it.
I don't know. The purple bag, it's a little weak sauce.
It's a little. You can't quite do it. I will say though, the original red bag. Mouth watering every time. Because you think, I don't want a Skittle. I don't want a Skittle. I don't need a Skittle. Then you get sort of a forceful friend and you take that Skittle. That mouth waters every time. Skittles are great.
Yeah. Well, I know what someone's getting for Valentine's Day.
Yo.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a this or that for you.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Carrie, you just joined in perfect timing. We're playing this or that. We're going to give you a scenario and you will comment or say to your device this, or you'll say that, depending on which choose your own adventure scenario you're going to go with. So the end of Devil Wears Prada.
Yes.
So it's the end of Devil Wears Prada. You are, what's her name? Anne Hathaway. And let's pretend you are in Devil Wears Prada. It's the very end of the movie. Are you going to do this, leave your boyfriend, and continue your dream career with a difficult boss who pushes you and challenges you? Will you do this? Or that? Go get married to the love of your life. Your boss is insane. You're talented. You'll make it, though she will definitely burn you in the industry and you'll never work again. But who cares? You're getting married. You're going to make it work. Fairy tale ending. What's the worst that could happen? You'll be together forever. Are you going to do this or the that?
Or that.
What are you going to go with?
I think, I mean, this is a real, where do your values lie, right? Of what's most important to you, what makes you feel best. I would love to tell you that I would choose a happy marriage, but I wouldn't stay in my career. I choose this.
Choose this. I'm curious, Aaron, do you have skin in this game here? Are you going to go with stay with your boyfriend, the this, or your partner? I know. And Stacy is joined as well. Stacy left and came back. We're glad that you're back, Stacy. We missed you.
Glad to have you.
This or that. I would choose. I would go with. Fortunately, Aaron says I don't have to choose. Well, Aaron, this is make believe. We're just playing pretend.
Of course, but it's a tricky one. It's tricky.
Aaron, you have a wonderful job and partner and big pool and mansion. We're just playing pretend, Aaron. Just a little pretend.
Yeah.
Which one would you do? I'm with you, Renee, and I have no qualms about this. I would do this. Bye, boyfriend. Continue my dream career. Difficult boss pushes me and challenges me. Because listen. And this is my gripe with the end of The Devil Wears Prada. My grandmother and I went to go see it. We were both outraged by the ending. And it just shows you where our values are, which is like, go for your career. This guy, it didn't look like a good relationship. End of that movie is insane. It's just that she worked so hard to get to her career, gets to the top of it, and she leaves it for this guy. And in the sequel, let me tell you, already divorced.
Oh, absolutely divorced. Absolutely divorced. And in the scenario that she stays in her career and keeps her boyfriend, you level up. You have to make sure you choose a partner who will grow with you, and that was not on the trajectory for them to grow with each other. So yeah, you got to lose him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have another this or that?
I sure do. I would love nothing more. Now, I wonder, mine are going to be some, because I would imagine you have some. You have more.
I have more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to make sure we get to yours. I want to make sure we get to yours. So mine are just all food based. It's just food because I want it to be like a little bit of a snack and a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of snack and a little bit of entertainment because it's important.
I love Renee so much. Here's what I always love. There's an assignment and you and I both attack it from different angles and it's perfect. It's perfect.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely. I also don't want to drivel on so much that we don't get to yours. So you get it. Okay. This is tale as old as time. Tale as old as time. Which will you choose? This is chocolate. Now, James, I already know yours, but it was in the doc and there's nothing I can do to change it. That is peanut butter. This or that. This chocolate, that peanut butter.
Okay. Well, it depends. If I want to end my life, I will choose that, which I don't. Yeah, listeners, Aaron's going with this. Oh, Stacy, I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I'm not gonna yuck your yum, but we all know for legal and medical reasons, I cannot choose that. I cannot.
And the legal reason is peanut butter has a restraining order against you. Do not come within 100 feet of me. Don't you do it. You're going to blame me every time. I will not allow it.
I have a restraining order against peanut butter. Stay away from me because you tried to kill me. Okay. Once I was on a date and you tried to kill me.
Oh, no. Peanut butter. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I have another this or that.
Okay.
You work at a place or a field that requires COVID vaccinations. Your colleagues all said that they're good to go. Everyone's like, okay, I'm vaccinated. I'm good. Come to find out, as you've been working closely with one of your colleagues, they let it out that, oops, they lied. They're not vaccinated. Will you do this or that? This. Tell your boss and anyone of authority what is up and what happened immediately, and then go get tested yourself. Or that. Your coworker's body, it's their choice. You're vaccinated, so you'll keep their secret. Your coworker is so good at their job. You need them. Your team needs them. The world needs them. Which one are you going to go with? This or that?
God, there's so many variables here. Yeah, 100% this from Aaron. Go to get tested immediately after telling somebody from Stacy. Absolutely. Yeah. You can't lie about those things. You can't lie. You can't, because I think the reason to not get vaccinated, you can disclose and your company will understand. So like if they're like, oh, I'm not vaccinated because of this, and that, then you can, but if you're lying, you can't do that. No lies.
So this is based on a true thing that actually happened. If those of you who are following tennis, Novak Djokovic recently got kicked out of, essentially, like, he's being thrown out of the Australian Open tournament, essentially lied about his vaccination status. He had said that he was vaccinated, had lied about a COVID test. He had taken a COVID test, gotten a positive COVID test, and then went to go have an interview with somebody. Like, just all of the things. And is kind of just trying to also be a martyr at this point. What's very interesting is and these were the rules of the game, right? They're like, you have to be vaccinated, and it's totally your choice, but you don't want to get vaccinated, that's fine. You're just not going to be able to participate in what this organization is trying to do because it's a public health thing. So that's fine. But we have the public's health to think about. And so people were bringing up the fact that, when Naomi Osaka, she, for mental health reasons, she was like, listen, I don't want to do the post-game interviews anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. And he was like, hey, that's just the rules of the game. You gotta do it. Oh, interesting. And he just has this ego about it. Is like, tennis needs me. So I had to push through and I had to persevere. So yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you would think that logic. I mean, I guess the world is wild and we all think differently, but I don't understand who you think would buy that. It's somebody did. Apparently somebody did, but my goodness. All right.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I do have one more this or that. Do you want it?
Yeah. And then I have one that I want to make up.
Okay. Ooh,
Okay.
perfect. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Your very famous older sibling is kind of wilding out on social media. They're saying all kinds of things about you. They're tarnishing your own career that you worked hard for from your point of view. Your older sibling is spiraling. They're taking you down, even though to you had nothing to do with your sibling's current predicament. Would you do this? Go to your sibling, they're hurting, and handle this privately. Or would you do that? Write a tell-all book, cash in on this, and save your reputation and career. So I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Would you do this? Go to your sibling, they're hurting, and handle this privately.
Yep.
Or would you do this? That write a tell-all book, cash in on this.
Aaron with the best answer. Why not both from Aaron? And Aaron's not wrong.
Both. And because you'll get more material for your book. You're like, and then I went to go help them. And that'll also save your career. Interesting.
Thank you.
And I like Stacey's though. I would go take care of the problem immediately, which I'm assuming go to them, or write a book immediately. Could be either way.
Who knows what's going to take care of the problem faster? Yeah.
Renee, what would you do?
I was pretty vocal about this yesterday, is that I think the thing that I won't allow is you to write the book and then try to wipe your hands of it. Just be like, all I did was write it, but you don't get to do that. If you're going to be in, you got to be in. But if you want to be out, you got to do that privately, and you got to not speak about it.
Yeah. I would do this. I'd go to my sibling. They're hurting. Oprah and Brene Brown them. So only Aaron's going to cash in and be there at the same time. Good luck with that dance, Aaron. Good luck with it. If you don't know what we're talking about, Google Britney Spears, Jamie Lynn Spears. They're fighting online. Jamie Lynn wrote a book. We talked about it yesterday, but it's some hot goss.
It's some hot goss. Is there any updates? Is there any new posts since last we spoke?
I haven't seen anything quite yet, but tomorrow we might close of the week with another social media post.
A brand new day. Now I said that I want to make one up, but I think I've changed my mind that I would like to save this for next time.
Okay. All right.
For next time. Okay.
We'll put a pin on it. So you've got to come back for next week. We will clearly, as the segment was a hit. We'll play this or that next week. Renee, last segment of the day. Take us home.
I would love to. I would love nothing more. Now, as you guys know, we love to end on a positive note, and we're going to call it various things. But I think the thing to discuss as we close out on a Thursday for alliteration purposes alone is where we thrive in. What's going well? What made you grow? What made you think? What did you learn? Just some inventory. How's the week going? Thriving out of the week. Mm-hmm.
Thriving out the week. I'm going to share. So how I've been thriving this week, I would say, is I had a therapy breakthrough yesterday. And what I realized is I'm really good at handling external things like just life and business and people from far away. And, hey, I do a lot of this, a lot of finger pointing, and I got it.
Second to none.
Hey, you. My difficult thing that I realized was a huge breakthrough, and I think breakthroughs are big to have, and I haven't had one like this in a while in therapy. And it was like I have difficulty in intimate relationships, and I mean like even just, it doesn't necessarily mean romantic because I don't have any of those, but maybe this is why I have difficulty in being vulnerable in intimate relationships, which is so wild to me because I feel like I'm being vulnerable with the whole world, but it's easy for me to do it in big ways, but when it's really intimate and close. And so it's even expressing my needs or my wants. And so it even goes back to like, hey, communicating to my roommate, hey, can you refill the Brita water filter? And I have an unmet need that needs to be met. And so I have difficulty with letting the other person in. I will just have the full conversation on my own. I'll solve it on my own, but all it does is keep me in my own head and resentments and keeps me further distant. So something that I can't say I'm thriving because I have not solved this, but I'm thriving in the sense that like I've made this acknowledgement that, oh, this is an area that I had no idea, Renee, a total blind spot. I thought I'm running around. I mean, I'm a Cancer emotionally, like I'm like a Cancer astrological side. I thought I'm running around being so vulnerable, and that's not the case. I'm very guarded.
It's hard. Being vulnerable is so hard. You have to be so brave and so courageous to do it. It's hard.
And I feel like people just get, I think I've been hurt by people get like, oh, this again, or oh, these emotions or these feelings, and I don't want to make people feel bad that I have this want, and I just try to solve it for myself, but I'm not allowing them to participate. So,
well,
that's me being vulnerable.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Get on uppers. I'm curious if there's anything that you're thriving out the week with, so you can to your device echo say learning how to do cartwheels, whatever it is. How are you thriving? Let us know. Or maybe you're kicking butt at work. Aaron, curious, you kicking butt at work? Let us know.
Of course he is. Of course, Aaron's kicking butt at work. That sounds like Aaron. I want to just real quick, and I won't because I know we're working on vulnerability, so I don't want to force you into it. But I do want to offer that your wants and needs are so valuable and worthy, and you deserve to have them met. Be it by friends, be it by roommates, be it by romantic relationships. You are worthy of that, and the people that are being like, "Oh, this again," are not honoring your worth. So just stand strong in that. Yes, you were checking those comments and paying attention to that. So what are you seeing, Jam? Tell me.
How did you tell? I'm so sorry, Renee. I love you so much. Renee just gave me amazing advice, and I checked out.
I get it. I understand. I know. I saw. I know. I get it. I understand.
I'm for myself. I'm sorry.
I
forgive and forget door.
hear you.
I'm going to open the forgive and forget door, and I'm opening the door. Is Renee there?
Yeah, Renee's right here. She, but there's nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forgive.
In a moment again. I forgot. But Aaron said I solved a big problem for one of my team members last week. I wanted to get to Aaron. It's like enough about me.
Yes,
I want to hear how
I
Aaron's
understand.
faring.
I get
it. I should have my needs met. I asked for it. I got it.
Blah, blah, blah. Back to my thing. Here we go. Aaron, I'm so proud of you. That's a big deal.
And like Renee, I already had therapy this week. I don't need another session. I got it.
Completely understand. Message received. I got it. And you are right that we need to focus on Aaron. Tell me what's going on with Aaron.
No, he solved a big problem for one of his team members. Okay, Renee. How are you thriving out the week? I want to get to you.
Oh, sure. No, I'd love to tell you so much. So I got a new job, which means that I had to put in a resignation at my current job. And those are difficult conversations to have.
But you did that yesterday during our show. So did you just send them the link and say, well, watch that. You'll figure it out.
Just I don't know. I should go check that out. Yes, I was also multitasking. But you gotta hop on some Zooms and you gotta say some difficult things, and you have to. So hard to look for a job while you have a job because you cannot disclose that you're looking for a job. So there is a air of deception in the air of just like, oh, so you've been going through interviews this whole time. And so like
that's why you look so nice in the Zooms. They're like, oh, that's what she was wearing.
I see.
Shoulder pad.
Yeah. But just to, because I think there is a world where years ago I would have been sucked into like, you're right, I'll just stay here. I'm so sorry. And so just like stay confidently. And I appreciate you so much, but I think my time at this company is done, and I will see you later. Nicer than that, but you get it. But it was so I did it. I don't know if I did it perfectly, but I did it.
Look at our lady thriving.
We love it. We love it.
And Stacey's still with the offer that listen, if we still want her mom to do our taxes, which we probably do, we gotta hit her up.
Please. Thank you, Stacey. Grateful for you. Grateful for your mom.
Yes,
perfect.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, we are gonna. It's the end of the show, Renee. We
gotta get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Get out of here. We're gonna be back tomorrow, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific time, right here on Backchannel. And stick around. There's so many great hours of programming, so many other really great, amazing shows. So we're gonna sign off here just to make room for another great show. So stick right there. And should we talk about what we're gonna do tomorrow, Renee? Tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah.
Friday.
Yep. Go for it.
So many things. Fun Friday. So we're gonna check in. What are our weekend plans? What are we gonna do? It's also Fact Friday. It's all the things. We're gonna play Jam You Lying. So again, am I telling the truth or am I lying about some facts to send you off into the weekend? We got some Flashback Friday. We're gonna go back in time to some things that we loved when we were a kid or didn't love, or we're gonna learn even more about each other as going back in time. Highlights from the week, news in case you missed it. Forget about it Friday, things that we're leaving in this week, and Renee's highlight reel. And you missed a moment of Get On Up this week. Renee has taken copious notes and will
I'll tell you it all. I'll tell you it all.
And we're going to send you off into the week with some Feel Good Friday, because we're going to get some organizations that are doing great work that you can help get involved with there. So that's what tomorrow, action-packed day tomorrow.
Can't wait. I cannot wait. All right, well, let's go get ready for it. What do you say?
Well, and we're gonna, Stacey, we're gonna miss you tomorrow. You won't be here tomorrow, but hopefully we'll see you next week. Stacey, have a great weekend. Your sign up, we'll miss you tomorrow. And a big thank you to Dakota from Florida, Freddie from Louisiana, Nathan from Texas, Lorna from Alabama, Abigail from Oklahoma, and of course Stacey. Thank you so much for being with us here on Get On Up. Thanks for watching. I'm James Arthur M.
And I'm Renee Culvert, and you just
got on up.
Also, thank you to Nick, our producer. We love you.